Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
So, Daniel's talked about this for years, and one of his favorite shows.
Yeah, but people don't believe me.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
feel
think
like
they do now.
Yeah.
They're coming around?
The BDMs, the people that listen to the show a lot, they believe you at this point.
And I've
because
actually
you can't make it up after so many years. I mean, you'd be extra insane if this was all some sort of hoax and you know too much about it.
I do.
You're just studying transcripts.
I really enjoy it, and I tell people I do, and then they think I'm silly. And I've actually converted a good number of BDM members that will now alert me when certain shows are on our page.
Oh, well, speaking of alerts, we talked about this gentleman on a show. I'll rewind a little bit.
And I already
because
popped him up. Him up.
So we talked about this gentleman because Daniel's a fan of the show, and we actually played the audio from the show of Shawn screaming "bargain alert," and then we talked about it. It's your favorite form of entertainment.
It is my favorite form of entertainment is shopping via the television. That is my favorite. I'm not a movie guy. I'm not even a radio guy anymore. Yeah. I'm not even a podcast guy, and that's what feeds my family. I am a home shopping from the television boy. It's what I love.
Well, this has got to be, I'm wondering if Shawn's ever heard about, and I'll introduce, I promise, in a second, but because this has got to be an anomaly. You've got to be the anomaly of their audience. Usually it's people that are looking to buy the products, which you're in it for the entertainment.
Punk rock guys covered in tattoos that drink heavily and love the marijuana. You mean that they don't watch ShopLC every single night?
For the entertainment value of it and not for the products. I imagine that the vast majority of the audience is watching to buy the different products.
My wife won't let me buy the products, Tom.
Yeah. But you're not even obsessed with that. You're obsessed with the actual show and how the presentation.
The personalities.
Anyway, so since...
I don't know how you guys hooked this up, but I'm sure he'll tell us.
Well, yeah. Well, since that happened, and then we played Shawn from ShopLC and the show, then we got an email from ShopLC.
Yeah, because we got a new channel here in Orlando. We have ShopLC now. So one night I'm just watching, and I turn on this guy who goes through and he's talking about a product, but then he just starts screaming "bargain alert," and I'm laughing and I'm having fun, and I'm like, this is my new guy.
So on with us via Skype from the ShopLC headquarters in an amazing studio.
Wow, my God, you look amazing. Jeez,
it's like we're talking to the TV.
God.
Sorry, Shawn, we're from Florida. Your relatives know.
No, listen, like I said, my family's from Florida, so I get it. No, this is as exciting for me because seriously, I woke up one morning to a text from my brother saying, "I'm listening to these guys from Orlando. My brother's in Palmetto, and they're talking about you." I'm like, "What? I'm waking. What the hell are you talking about, Chris?" And so then he says, "Yeah, they're playing some story where you're talking about your grandmother's clinged peaches." And it's like, oh, crap, I know what they're doing. So who could have ever known that a harmless little story, because my grandmother loved clinged peaches, and she liked a little can. But anyway, and so all of a sudden, here we are doing this, and then the next day, Darren Bogus, one of the writers for our channel here, he sends me an email. He listens to you guys, so you got a hell of a following here in Austin. So,
that's awesome.
Wow, in Texas.
That's really, really cool. But hey, man, just before we even do anything, I just have to give you a compliment and say you're really good at what you do. And I think a lot of people think, now I know for a fact that my business partner Tom, this is a nightmare scenario for you, right?
What?
Having to spiel or having to sell something, and I know you're good at it, but you don't like
there's lots of things that,
like, if I put you in a suit and threw you next to Shawn and said, "Get at it," would you be okay?
Okay, actually, and we got so many questions for you, Shawn. But
I've been wanting to talk to somebody who does this for my entire life.
My nightmare scenario more is reading off a teleprompter and having someone just read everything.
Because you can't read.
Yeah, that and like me being put on the spot to read exactly what's written. Right. Like making improving, I feel way more comfortable in that world. But improving about the stuff, like trying to be funny at all times,
trying to be engaging, trying to make you have to. I would imagine
doing it with like specific topics and sticking to that and
getting out the details of the product.
Right.
Yeah, because everything we do is ad lib.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons I love this channel is we have to work off the cuff nonstop. We are given little story points, very little. And from there, we might have to talk 30 minutes to an hour about something.
That's crazy.
In fact, Dan, I was going to give you a test to see if you would qualify for this, but maybe Tom's the one should get the test.
No. Daniel's.
Tom will have a freak out.
Sean,
I don't know if I'm cut out for this, guys. Just because I enjoy it.
No, you're great.
Doesn't necessarily mean that I would be cut out for it.
Well, Sean, and even before we start, because we are going to go into what this talent that you obviously have, what it is, because me and Daniel were trying to really analyze it earlier, and like it's a form of improv, but it's also a form of thinking fast on your feet, and then being able to know where you're going with something, and then tie a bow on in the end. There's a lot of skill to it. But before that, I want to hear about your background, Sean. Like, what is your background? Is do you have an acting background? Is it
no?
Stand-up?
I can't act. I tried acting. I can't.
Okay.
I've been in this forever. And I spent 20 years at a network that doesn't even exist anymore, called Shop NBC. NBC wanted to get another shopping gig, and I was bored to tears because the last 5 years they made me basically become a robot. Dan, I know you watch a lot of QVC, and I hope I don't destroy any of your preconceived notions about the other networks.
I know the differences, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of what they do, it's not necessarily scripted, but it's all pre-planned.
Yeah, it is.
So if I'm showing this ring, they have a form that they basically have to follow as to here's what you say first, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. Here, I can go off on tangents about my grandmother and then cling peaches, scream bargain alert, and then
there it is.
Whatever I want to, and that's the great thing about this channel is we can explore the things that people aren't prepared for, and we can be different. I originally was going to get into radio, and great profession, but as you guys have experienced, there's a lot of twists and turns these days in it, and I'm glad I frankly never wound up in it.
Yeah.
But very early on, I thought, I don't want to read the farm reports in Waseca, Minnesota at a 5,000 watt station. And it just so happened that TV shopping was taking off. So I got my first gig at a place called Value Vision, which was a lot like what we're doing here back in the 90s. And then once QVC became this big thing, well, you had to do this. You had to stand upright, and you had to talk like this, and you had to be what I call the robot. That's not me. I'm animated. I'm energetic. And at ShopLC, they get that there's room for all these different personalities. I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. There are people that I got an email once, first time I ever did a bargain alert, because it always starts off with a story about my grandmother. And I got an email from
are
a
they
woman.
always like that? When if I watch you and I catch you sporadically, but I'm new to your channel, so am I always, if I hear Grammy, then I know I'm getting ready to get bargain alerted, right?
More often than not. In fact, if I'm telling just a regular story and it happens to include my grandmother, I can hear my producer groan, "Oh no."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He thinks that's what's coming. And it's like, no, I swear, it's a nice little story. But this network does everything right. We can be ourselves. We can have fun. Our mantra is deliver joy. And I think that's what we're doing. I hope that's what we're doing.
Yeah, like when Sam was kind of filling us in on the fact that, and I realize most of the guys are kind of, it's not necessarily scripted, but they do know exactly where they're going. It's weird that you guys, that's a lot of freedom that they give you. And with that, does that come any added maybe anxiety or worry that you're going to go off on a tangent and maybe go down a road that could get you into some hot water? Because you certainly can do that in radio.
That's a very good question. And you always have to have that filter going in your head.
Yeah.
Because, I've started stories. I'll be selling a ring or a bracelet, or, we're not just jewelry. We do everything. Frying pans, you name it. And suddenly it'll trigger in my head a funny story. And I realize, okay, this doesn't end happily. Maybe this ends tragically. How do I now veer out of this and make it joyful? And so you have to immediately take your ship, turn it 180 degrees, and then end it differently. So the brain constantly stops. People think, you stand, you talk on TV, it's an easy job. My brain doesn't stop spinning for 5 hours a day. It's nonstop.
And I think
it's
that's
gotta
why
be
we
mentally
wanted to,
exhausted.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to talk to you so much, because we're kind of like that in the fact that, like,
we do shows every day. They're not planned, and it's all improv, and it's just a conversational improv.
And when you tell people, though, that you had a tough day or it was hard, the vast majority of people, and I don't blame them, they'll look at you like, right. Like, I know that what you do, and I know from just doing it, and I'll throw something at Tom real quick, and I know that Tom and Shawn and Sam will know exactly what I'm saying. When we would host the Orlando City Galas, and we had all these different things that we had to hit, like that.
Preparing for that kind of stuff.
When I got done at
the
end of the night, we'd hang our suit up, and it was like I was mentally dead.
Yeah. And so, Shawn, like, I'm interested in, like you said, you started in 20 years ago in a small market doing this, but and since you wanted to get in talk radio, that tells me that you were always you realized you had this gift,
or opinionated,
where you could improv very easily, and then you could talk for a living. So, but I'm interested to see, like, when you first started, was it a huge learning curve? Like, were you not good at it at all, and then it took reps to be as good as you are now? Were you naturally good at just keeping the like, it's like turning on a faucet sometimes. Like, you could just turn it on and just keep going until someone's like, stop!
Yeah. I don't mean to boast or to brag, but it's something I personally think I was born to do. I was meant to do this.
Yeah.
I have watched, again, I've been doing this since 1992, and I've seen a lot of people try and fail. List longer than my arm of people that thought they could do it and failed through no fault of their own. Actors are horrible at this. They're used to the script that you were talking about, Tom, and you can't go from I'm used to reading a script to doing this. And again, I promise you this is not going into a bargain alert, but my grandmother did more or less raise me, and I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't have a big social circle, so I always had to make my own fun. I had to invent creative things in my head, and I think that's where this was born from. It's just because you have to constantly be thinking. Before I say something, I have to have the next sentence already prepared in my head. And if you can't do that, you're not going to be good at this.
Yeah.
At least not here. Again, at the other networks where everything is so planned out, they know 2 days ahead of time what's going to happen. So they've already been told to a degree, first you talk about this and then this and then this and then this. Not here. It is, here you go. Get out there. Here's a ring. Have at it. And I love that.
Yeah, it's got to be more exciting that way, I would imagine.
Shawn, have you ever talked to someone that like teaches improv or is an improv professional? Because I feel like this and also like freestyle rap.
Like Chris Turner.
Like,
Is that who you were thinking?
Chris Turner.
Yeah,
and
I
like,
was thinking of that too.
If there's a Venn diagram, it has to be an overlap in the way people's brains, like you guys' brains work, where someone that's really good at improv, freestyle rap, that's a version of this. It's like you, it's easy for your brain, and it's easy. It's something that comes naturally to you. This I do think that this is something genetic, like, and then also mixed with, like you said, you had to entertain yourself, and you probably honed this skill.
It's almost his comfort zone, because
what's
more comfortable for a young man growing up? I know I would. I'd go back to making voices or playing with my toys, and that was comforting to me, so I had no choice but to excel at it.
So, Shawn,
this is the first time this job's ever been psychoanalyzed. I love this.
I'm serious. We talk about this all the time, man, because a lot of people cannot do what you do.
Yeah, so, Shawn.
It's a weird, you might be the king of Weird Job Wednesday. We're not even doing it on Wednesday, but this is a weird-ass job.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So, Shawn, I'm interested. Okay, so throughout doing this for so long, for sure you've met other people that can do this, right? Other professionals in your field, right? So then once you get to this level and you're considered one of the best at it, I imagine worldwide, let's say for other people, have you met other people that can do this, and can you compare your skills to someone else that can do this?
Yeah.
And is there someone in your mind that's like your mentor or someone that's like vastly better than you? Do you consider yourself one of the best in the world at this? Are there others you see him like, oh, that guy,
like a big name?
Yeah, he can tie in multiple products, and then he has a better finish. Like, I'm sure you start getting into the small details and like getting increment, like little bit by little bit better. And
can you do that?
There's a few others. Like, I've been very fortunate. Right now, the woman who's my co-host, Karen Connolly, she and I worked together 20-some years ago, and she's been in the industry longer than I have. So she is like a mentor to me. I've learned a lot from her. And Dan, this is where I'm telling you, meant to be, buddy. You can't stay in radio forever. This is your path. My former co-host, whose name was Dan Dennis, swear to God.
Whoa.
Yes.
What?
Hold on.
Swear to you.
That
he
is
a legend.
weird.
And I could hand him this face mask, and he could have never seen one before in his life. He could have no idea what this is, and he would go off on it till you told him to stop. It's legend.
Wait a minute, Shawn, are you telling me that there is a legendary television shopping man named Dan Dennis? Is that my real dad?
Oh my God.
That's my real dad.
Your mom's like, back in the 70s, I had
He
this.
broke it's like Coco. It's like the real story of Coco.
Right.
And then the grandma comes out and she's like, "Are you over there spieling about the Shungite bracelet?" And she breaks it. She smashes it on the floor, and then I hide in the attic.
You're tiny Coco.
Oh my God. I found him on LinkedIn.
Does he look like...
Hold on, I gotta find a picture.
So Sam found him. Wow, man. This is weird. Like, this is so... Your
What
family...
are the odds?
So your family listens to us, and Dan Dennis was a legendary shopping guy. All right, this isn't weird at all.
All coming together. I know. And but kudos to you for just saying the words Shungite and knowing what it is. You and I are the only two people that know what you just said.
Well, one of the best things, at least that I've found about Shungite is, I mean, anybody like you, Tom, can go out there and you can hear all of these different jewels and all these different gems, and they're great, but there's some really, really great gems that aren't even on the radar anymore. You know, maybe they were at one time, maybe they were for a split second, but if you really want to get out there and you really want to get something that's unique, that's a showstopper, and that's something that not everybody has, ShopLC, Shungite. That's what you want, buddy.
No, I've thought of you a couple times when I'm showing it, because I imagine you at home, because you've mentioned how you are feeling good lots of times when you watch these shows, and how your mind must just explode when you see the demonstrations we do with Shungite. I don't know if you've seen those, where we take the bracelet and we put it by an electrical outlet, and we show the electromagnetic radiation that's coming out of that. And you put Shungite right next to the outlet, it absorbs it, totally negates all of the electromagnetic radiation. And there's a little reader that shows that. It's just mind blown.
It is. And that will,
You're selling me on the Shungite.
And it's going to change the chemistry, the electromagnetic field within your body. Your body is a series of waves.
So, okay, Shawn, I'm interested in like going into the how good are you at this particular presenting improv skill?
I don't think you'd even know if this guy, you'd already have bought something. And then
So, Shawn, could you, if someone gave you like 5 mystery boxes and then was like, all right, you have an hour of live time to fill, and then each box has a different item, and you have to literally, you have no idea what it is, and you have to start selling it. It's kind of like the old, remember when you interviewed for a sales position and then the corny boss would be like, sell me this pencil, to see how good your salesmanship was?
Yeah, you made me do that.
But
Did you do that to Butler?
So could you just open up a random box and just just start selling it with not knowing any information beforehand?
I've almost had that happen. It was like 20 years ago. Someone called off. I had to show up at 2 a.m. And for whatever reason, I don't remember, there were like 3 items in the entire show, one of which was a blue flat bed sheet. I had to spend, hand to God, this is the truth, 30 minutes talking about a blue sheet. Can you imagine?
What do you
having
do?
to constantly come up with new things to say.
Like
immediately, I would talk about stitching, thread count, the way it's folded, the color.
That's 5 minutes. What do you do for the next 25?
I don't know.
Like, I was talking about draping it over things, about how if you're a photographer, it's a great background. You tack it up on the wall, and you put objects in front of it and take pictures. I mean, it's...
You could stand behind it and backlight yourself and do a shadow puppet show.
Do you ever go so ridiculous that everybody in the studio is laughing about, like, you're going so far with this blue sheet and, like, you're improving? I mean...
people laugh at he's got a YouTube collection of clips that people have put together. Just go find them. And just type in Shawn ShopLC and they'll pop up. And then all of a sudden, you can hear the crew in the background.
They're laughing at it.
Of course.
Yeah, it's their monkey-headed nutcracker comes to mind immediately. I don't know if that's on YouTube or not, but yeah, there's many of those. And one of the things, again, if anything has made me successful, it's being real. I dislike the whole, if we make a mistake, we need to cover it up. Or if I say something embarrassing, we need to cover it up. It's like, no, laugh, have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's just, we're human. And so if I say the wrong thing, now, thank God, knock wood, I've never done one of those 7 dirty words or anything like that. But even if I did, it's like, yeah, oh well, so what? I said it. Too bad.
Yeah. You have to go into it with that mentality, because without it, and this is where I want to talk about, I'm sure through all this time doing this, Shawn, that you've seen, and like you've said, you've seen people come and go. Have you ever witnessed like a complete meltdown with someone who like froze or couldn't think of anything?
Like a new guy.
Or a new guy that I'm sure you've seen a lot of that.
Look at his face.
I wouldn't even know where to begin. The first one that I guess comes to mind, and she was the sweetest girl. This was back at NBC. Sweetest girl. She was out here with this line of 24-karat gold jewelry, and she was my guest. And I introduced, because we have 3 hours with these people, I introduced the first bracelet, and I said to her, so tell me about this. Here's what I get. It's pure gold. Okay. I have 3 hours now with this. It's just all I could get out of her. It's pure gold.
So then you're having to do all the heavy lifting. We've had to do that with interviews before.
Oh, yeah.
It's at that point you realize this is never going to work. And I've seen, and I feel so bad for them, because there's so many genuinely really nice people who think they can do this, and they try, they research, they go out there and give it their all. But the second the camera comes on, it's not there. It's the Brady Bunch, Cindy Brady, when she was going to be on some TV show and the red light comes on and that's all she sees, and she just stares at it and freezes up.
You know what this reminds me of? Is Butler with his toasts on Fridays.
Oh, yeah. Some people don't have it.
He gets all into it, and he's really good at it. Well, no, Butler's an actor, but he gets nervous, I think, and then we go to give him
this is not the best job for actors, like Shawn will tell you. This is actually, this is a good job for anybody. Like, I wonder, do these companies that do what you do, like, which I guess, and by the way, what would you categorize this style of entertainment? Which kind of leads me into our original question was, is Daniel the anomaly viewer that watches for pure entertainment reasons?
Well, I watch for the personalities.
And personality?
Like, I'll watch for Shawn. I'll watch for, like, David Venable. I'll watch for, like,
have you heard other, as other members of the audience reached out and like Daniel enjoys the art of this and, like, not necessarily just watching for the items you're selling?
He's not an anomaly. No, I mean, when you first talked about me a few months ago, Sam nailed it when you said, who's the audience? And she said, Meemaws. I mean, that we know is the audience. But yes, I used to be, before I started in this, I was Dan. I was one of those who I would have maybe gone up for the evening, had a few, put it on. It's great entertainment. And then I started realizing, wait a minute, maybe I can do this for a living. This is not something I'm going to sit and goof on anymore.
Yeah, you guys are like the best for the virus ever. If you just want to like not think about how hard things are right now and crazy things are, and you just want a pleasant friend, you got to watch these channels, man. I'm telling you, it's better for your brain.
I mean, again, ShopLC is the fastest growing of all the TV shopping networks. And I think it's partially because of what you just said, but also because we try and be that friend. We try and be friendly people. There are some in this industry that, I don't know, it seems like if you ran into them in a bar or a restaurant, that they might just have their nose in the air and just, I don't know if I'd want to approach that person. We're all very approachable. I've had people come up to me at HEB and just, hey, I bought this from you. But I love meeting people. It's just you have to be a people person to really succeed in this. And ShopLC is great about hiring people that are like that. And we have a great management team here who supports us in being ourselves. When I was at Shop NBC, again, nothing against them, I guess, maybe necessarily, but it's like I had to conform to what they wanted you to be. And so here it's like, I am what I am.
Yeah. And that seems like with this style, you have to let the person's personality come out.
It's probably the most valuable asset you have, right? Because if I'm buying something, I mean, arguably anything I buy, when I'm having a transaction with another human, I would like to think in my heart that the person that's talking to me or extending the transaction is a genuine and honest person.
Yeah.
And the best way to let people be that is to let them be themselves, because that's honesty.
That's why people buy the blue sheet. It's not because it's a blue sheet. No. It's because
Shawn told me about it, and I like his personality.
So, Shawn, I'm sure you're familiar with the fail montages that are out there from other networks and from people that
normally
do this.
It's people getting hurt, like the Little Giant Ladder.
Yeah. And so people, because this is live TV, anything could happen, and there's been a lot of things that people like. Of course, the Little Giant Ladder and then falling down.
Oh, that's a bad one.
And
by the way, the woman in that ladder, that's Karen, who's my co-host today that I just mentioned.
Yeah, that's right. So she was there. She saw that in person.
Oh yeah. And the guy, this is because we're salespeople at heart.
Yeah.
And after I think all your listeners have probably seen the video. After he falls to the ground and is collapsed, she keeps selling. Ambulance has to come, take him away. As they're taking Harold McCoo away, he looks up and says, "Did we sell any?"
Oh, God.
That's a salesperson.
God, that
hurt my heart.
And also,
because
she
the best
didn't start laughing or anything. She just kept going.
Is it goes down one time because he's getting on top of it to show you how sturdy he is, and he goes down one time, and he goes, and she's like, "Whoa!" She goes, "Whoa!" And then he goes, "No.
That's just setting
I just locked it into place." Now he goes, "Now I locked it into place," and that's when he lit the fuse. I'm like, "Oh, buddy."
Yeah, which made him go into it harder because his confidence levels up. Even though
Sorry, I just watched it.
Oh, it's bad. It's a bad. I mean, it's bad. God bless that man.
Shawn, in all your years, have you had any mishaps like that where something broke or
numerous times. I mean, here's how strong this bracelet is. Snap.
Yeah.
There was a table behind me once. It had a lamp on it. My earpiece cord got caught on the table. Everything went falling over.
Oh, no.
Just the moments where I lose it because of the absurdity of something. There was this very early on, and I wish I had this video. I'm standing over. I wish I had one of the neck stands. Those neck stands that we have that the jewelry's on.
Yeah.
And we had this pendant. And I just was looking over it. And in my head, looking up at me from this pendant, it looked like an alien wearing a beanie. And I just lost it. It was so hideous. From there, that's where I learned I can sell the ugly stuff. It's just you have to present it to the audience in the way they're thinking. it's very disingenuous to say you love everything. I'm the first to say I don't love everything. And when you present those items in that way, like the monkey-headed nutcracker, my co-host and I, we were strictly saying, there's someone in your life you would love to give one of these to. Think about it. There's someone you know you would love to see their face when you give them the monkey-headed nutcracker. We weren't saying anything bad about it. We were just being very sarcastic.
Yeah. But it's real though. That's where the genius of and luckily ShopLC realizes that's why it sells, because you're being
authentic.
honest. They know your personality. The viewers know you. If it's like us with if we're doing live reads of commercials and endorsing a product, they'd see, our listeners would see or hear right through us if we were trying to be disingenuous in any way, and it would be a catastrophe, as opposed to even if we told the truth about a product that we didn't even like it that much, but I'm sure it's out a lot of people would, if you're into this, that would do better than us lying about it.
Yeah. So did you guys get any of the things that we sent you?
We got it all right here, man.
It's in a beautiful trunk.
I got this awesome pen.
Yeah, we're all using our pens.
Yeah, we all got a jewel. We got a ShopLC jewel pen, which, by the way, when you put the cap on this, the pen ends up being close to 4 feet long. It's like a wizard staff. I love this. That you could kill somebody with it. And then we have a bunch of gifts that, pardon me, are actually things that you guys actually sell that we can kind of talk about a little bit. And then we're hooking up some of our listeners, right, Sam?
Yeah.
Like this stuff?
Yep.
Yeah. So courtesy,
they gave us a whole box of stuff for us and something to give away to a listener, a whole package.
Whoever, your marketing team, if you packed this, whoever did it, did an amazing job. I mean, an amazing job.
Did you get the Chokenbako?
Ooh, look in there. What you got?
You would know the Chokenbako if you saw it.
What's a Chokenbako?
I don't think I got it.
Hold on.
Butler probably stole it.
Hold on.
It's one of the items that I was just kind of alluding to. It's a dog piggy bank.
Yes, we did get that.
Oh, yeah, it's right there.
I got it.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
All right.
I had to make sure. You probably need a battery for it.
Yeah.
Butler did claim that, though.
Yeah, Butler, our sales guy, already stole the dog bank.
Yeah.
He says he wants that one. Oh, we have batteries. All right. Thank you, Butler.
Yeah, we are the only cable shopping network that sells a Chokenbako.
Now, how would you go about selling something like this? Because
Why are you calling it a Chokenbako? It just says my dog piggy bank. Am I missing something?
I think if you open it up on the actual bank, it says Chokenbako, which is like Japanese for coin bank or something.
Right.
Yeah, I live for selling items like this. This is why I come to work.
Yes.
And then when you put it down and if someone has a quarter around there or something, you put the batteries in. When you put a quarter in the dog's dish, the dog eats the quarter. Mm-hmm. It gets a little animated and eats the quarter. There's hashtags on Instagram for Chokenbako where you can see people around the world. There.
Chokenbako.
Chokenbako.
Bizarrely, it was like, why did it say that?
I thought you'd lost your mind, Shawn. Like when you were saying, "Do you have the Chokenbako?" And then I was trying to think that is he spelling bargain alert or is it an anagram? Like what are we doing here? That makes sense. Tom's putting batteries in this now. Okay. And Butler, do you have any coins?
Yeah, we need a quarter.
Yeah, we need some coins. We have a coin shortage.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true. Good point. But it will work with tokens or anything that you have.
So do you start this one? What would you do? Would you go is this for kids? Is this for adults? Is this for everybody? Like where would you go?
All of it. Okay. Go ahead. Do your.
Okay, I'm putting.
You got to see this first.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at that. Your kids would like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a good example of an item that just sells itself. All you do is animate it, make it go, and the phones explode. It's the easy, because everybody, how can you not laugh?
It's
Look
pretty
at that.
cute.
Yes.
It's pretty cute.
It looked crazy.
Yes.
I mean, now that I have seen it, I'd like it even more than I did when it was in the box. It's pretty darn good, man.
But again, it's the kind of thing that could never sell in a store. It would just sit on a shelf. It has to be animated. It takes television. in order to present it.
Yeah, now, Shawn, obviously, I don't know if you made any reference to these weird images on the bottom right.
Don't talk about those.
Where it says Chokenbako, then there's the images, and it says made in China, as if we didn't know, obviously. And there's the image of the dog holding an umbrella.
Yes.
Then coins, obviously maybe going into a cup or a receptacle of some sort, maybe that. Then hands holding, like, I don't know if you can see this, but they're like, it's kind of like the environment sign. They're holding some sort, I don't even know what it is. And then what looks like the dog in some sort of castle or Disneyland. It's bizarre. What does that mean?
That means, that means if you continue to feed this dog coins, he will eventually buy a castle to live in. That's what it means.
That's great material. I'm stealing that. That's brilliant.
But that's basically what you have to do, right? You have to kind of create. And have you ever said anything? Because the one thing I would worry about, because I do it kind of as a gag around here for the guys, but when I do make the mistake of saying I love everything. I will not do that anymore, so I'm going to have to practice that.
Yes.
The other thing is, have you ever said anything that was misinformation? Because I was watching a guy on one of the other channels the other night, and he said something that I absolutely knew was not true, because I could see it wasn't true, because he wasn't saying what was presented on the actual on the television graphics. You know, it had listed everything that it did, and this particular gentleman was saying it did something else, and it didn't do that. Have you ever said anything where you gave bad information and had to go back and kind of fix it? It's probably easier since you are allowed to make mistakes there, right?
Yeah, never intentionally, but there have been times where I was given misinformation, and I'll correct it. If I say something on air and then my producer says to me, oh, by the way, the carrot weight is wrong on that or whatever, I will 100% correct it. Even if I'll do it, and I've said this blatantly, I will say, if this change causes you to no longer want the item, please call in and cancel your order, because I don't want someone buying something with the mindset that it is what I said it was, and then when I find out later, okay, we made a mistake, I don't want you to have it then. That's please. And, and again, I have a company here that backs me up when we make mistakes like that and we do things like that. It's human nature. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. I'm not going to be one of those that just says, well, too bad. It's out there. You know, 30-day money back.
Makes sense.
So, Shawn, I guess this is the last piece of curiosity when it comes to this business to me is the products themselves. So how does that work exactly? Like, I know with jewelry and stuff, like sometimes it's like overstock, or they're trying to get like, or they're, it's liquidation. But with like products like the old Chokenbako and like other randoms, are they specifically made to market in this way, or are they products that like, hey, let's try marketing this way? And like, do you know beforehand whether something's going to work or not?
That's a great question.
Have you ever been surprised? Like by this time, do you like, oh, this product's going to sell, this one won't?
All the time. That's one of the things I love about this. We have had this past weekend, Karen and I had a show where we were selling some closeouts of a fragrance by a designer called Norel. They'd been sold in Neiman Marcus. Neiman's is having problems, so they needed to get rid of it. We got it. And Karen and I sold literally hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of this product in one show.
Wow.
We knew it was going to be popular, but we had no idea to that level that it would be that popular. And conversely, we've had many things that we think, this is going to be the best thing ever. And, ooh, wow. And this is something else that I don't mind doing is if something isn't selling and I'm shocked, you'll hear me say on air, man, I can't believe you guys didn't grab that. I can't, I'm not going to be one of those that pretends everything sells because everything doesn't. It's like, wow, you guys passed up on that? I can't believe that. It's just my emotions come out. But also to your point, our parent company is a jewelry company. So most of the jewelry we actually make at a facility in India. And like the bracelets, I think we sent you some bracelets and earrings. We made most of that product. The earrings we made, the bracelets we made, and that keeps our costs down. When you buy a piece of jewelry in particular from a retailer, there's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 7 or 8 markups that take place along the way. We get rid of that. So our company can focus on delivering joy, but also one of the things that's very important to our company is we have an ongoing thing called the 1-for-1 program. So for every purchase, we donate a meal to a hungry child in India or in the United States.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Right now in Florida, you guys have over 800,000 children that deal with hunger on a daily basis.
Yeah, we're bad about that.
Yeah, and so through our partnerships with No Kid Hungry and Akshapatra, we're donating meals. Whether someone buys a $9 item or a $3,000 item, a child gets a meal, because it's very important that our company is giving back in that way. So
That's awesome.
it's another reason why I just feel so good about working here.
That's awesome, Shawn.
Yeah, it makes me feel better as a viewer, too. Hopefully my wife will let me buy something occasionally.
Well, Shawn, we talked so much about the business and the background and your background.
Well, we'll
which
get
is
him on
fascinating.
again.
Yeah, can you come on with us again? And I want to, because Daniel, I want to show, like Daniel has this ability.
But I want to take some lessons.
So I'd like the next time we have you on, like Daniel can go through a spiel and present a product.
Critique.
And then you can critique Daniel's ability and then have a pro give you some feedback.
I would love to do that.
Yes.
I
Awesome.
would absolutely
Awesome.
relish that. We have the name, since we had a Dan Dennis here already, we have the name graphics ready to go.
Oh my God.
Come on, we're halfway there.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome.
That is absurd to me that there was already a Dan Dennis doing
Well,
it.
you also think that,
It is.
like, Samantha always thinks, and she's the sweetest person you'll ever meet, and I know you've been working with her in order to set this up, but Samantha also thinks that somewhere in the universe there is an evil force that is behind Dan. Yeah, there's like Dan Dennis was on there,
Some
and then
weird
like some
conspiracy.
weird conspiracy,
Yeah.
or maybe I killed him and I'm the original guy or something like.
You're like Bizarro Dan Dennis.
Yeah, it always can't. It can't be just a coincidence with her.
No.
But, hey, man, thank you so much for the time, and it's really cool to finally chat with you. And please thank your family immensely for listening to our silly podcast.
Yep.
I will do that. We all love you. So, but thank you for the time, and I'll be happy to come back.
Awesome,
man.
Shawn. Yeah, we'll send you an email. We'll have you back on, and we're going to do
And
this.
our listeners are going to get hooked up with some
Yes.
amazing prizes from ShopLC. And if people want to find you on social medias, where do they find you?
Shawn Wilsie is my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. So just search my name, ShawnWilsie.
Yeah,
So,
and watch him.
make sure the listeners go to our website we're giving away thousands of dollars in our Christmas and August sweepstakes. They need to go there and enter to possibly win.
Yeah, you
Awesome.
can absolutely do that. Thank you again, man. We can't thank you enough, and we'll talk to you soon.
We'll see you.
All right,
Thanks,
brother.
Shawn.
Be good. Wow, that was cool, right?
What a nice guy.
Yeah,
Super
nice
nice.
guy. And what an interesting story. I'm sorry that the backstory took longer where I didn't get
We'll-
the spiel, but we'll do it again.
Yeah. I knew if we went into that, we weren't going to be able to talk about like the inside of that industry because it's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Like-
and like the things that sell, sometimes you find things on there that like are limited, meaning like a specific type of hand cream that Meemels will like. And you can see as a viewer, I've watched so much that you'll see it when they all know, and you can almost feel them calling each other to say,
they got it
"Hey,
again."
They got it again. Because you just see it, and you just
yeah.
see it, and then they'll be like, it's gone.
And what's interesting too is he's not the stereotypical salesperson where the stereotypical salesperson only has a limited window to get the sale, so they're trying to like pressure you almost into like making the commitment or whatever. He has his job is like, all right, you have 15 minutes for this product.
Just tell them about it in a funny way or a cool way.
And so even the people just watching it, eventually after 10 minutes of him talking about it, he could sell the person because and it's
I love
a
it.
super fascinating talent, and we should definitely talk to him about it.
I've pitched this idea to Andrea before. Normally when I get really, really high, and we do have to take a break, but I'll pitch an idea to her about an alternative rock and roll, punk rock, hip hop, younger version of this.
Hell yeah.
Where it's a little uncensored.
Right.
It's on cable. I sell products with
dude,
my
you
team
can do
of
it on the
people,
internet.
and you do it. But that's what I mean. And you do it, but you do the same thing he's doing.
Uncensored,
You just make it a little more spicy for the kids. You know,
Dude, that's a brilliant idea.
I just think it would work
I'd watch
because
it.
everybody wants to turn their brain off right now. I don't want to be on Facebook and see who you're voting for, and I certainly don't want to watch the news.
But if it was cool products that was to our demographic.
Like I'll sell Vans, checkerboard Vans. You think I could sell those?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then all these different things, stupid, like, you put some stupid stuff in there, but products that for our age.
You put some silly stuff in there.
Dude,
All right, anyway, we have to take a break.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Your hair is getting brighter.
No,
And I don't
that
know
can't
how
be true.
I don't know how that's happening.
Let's do some emails. We never get a chance to do that many emails on Corporate Time.
I say let's do emails, and then you and I go on a tangent, and we ignore Samantha, and then people email her, and then I guess they get
But then we don't read the emails, so
No,
But they get a lot
It's a
of
never-ending cycle.
They have fun making fun of you and I, so because I think they think we're senile old men.
Yeah.
First email.
Tom and Dan, Butler, and Sam.
Oh, I know who this is.
I understand there are several reasons you can't respond to this email, but the Bart Merritt commercial with Katinka was a fun listen. Every one of Tom's lines sounds like he is in physical pain from holding something in. We know. Jim from Lakeland.
What?
That was the German lady, right?
Yeah. Katinka.
Katinka.
I'm wondering if it was just because maybe they assumed that you were having a hard time understanding her. I don't know.
No, she's having fun.
Yeah.
You know what that is? They're hearing, and gotta do a better job at my job. If I can't even do
I want to write that down.
what?
Tom wants to do
No, that's a Tom Van
job.
quote. If that's not in your quotes, I don't know what. I mean, that's the best one you've ever done. That reminds me, I need to do a better job at my job.
And what they were hearing is Katinka, who is awesome, and that's why Bart wanted her in a testimonial. But she's not a listener of the show, so I didn't
Didn't go too jokey.
Yeah, I had to keep it or in my mind, I didn't really have to, but I was like, I wanted to keep it more professional because I didn't want to throw her off because she was a great.
What do you
client
think, Katinka?
Oh, yeah. Or if we do if a BDM calls in, I'm gonna be giving them ass, talking.
Yeah, we have a rapport that we use for listeners, and we have a rapport that we use for people that may not have never met us and don't know who we are.
Yeah. And so that's probably what they're hearing is me faking, or not. It's not even faking. It's just putting on a professional.
Everybody wears a mask.
It's more like, hey, I'm gonna do the testimonial.
It was
straight.
serious, Tom.
Yeah.
Is what you heard, and we're not used to ever. See, we have goofed around so much. This was a problem.
It's always goof, Tom.
This was a problem when we quit our jobs to start this business. No one took us seriously, and everybody's like, "You guys are idiots."
Too much goof, Tom leads to goof duck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Isn't that a line in The Shining? Too much goof, Tom makes goof duck. Remy's home.
What's funny is that I will talk to someone in two different ways and follow me.
Well, first is English, second is Mandarin Chinese. But I don't know how you know the Chinese, and I don't even know if you know what you're saying.
And this happened to me over the weekend. So over the weekend, Tommy was playing with one of his friends.
Your kids have friends?
And from school.
Weird.
So
I need to get Maisie some friends.
And their parents were over the house, and then I was talking to the husband. I just met him that day, and
play date.
I was talking to him, and then
I like your mustache. You want to take your shirt off and get in the pool with me?
we were doing the small talk. I tend to go to sports because I know the most about sports, and I'll just talk about sports for eternity.
You been watching WNBA?
And I think a lot of people do this. You find a topic that the other person knows about, and then that's the small talk.
God, man, you're better than me. I just don't go to anything, and I hide
And,
from
well,
other parents.
And
they all think I hate them.
So then, about 2 hours into or whatever,
2 hours,
an hour into play date or whatever, he told me he was a BDM, and I was like, oh, okay. And then from there on forward,
D's out.
Jesus, man.
because once he told me that, then I was like, oh, you know me. So I'm just gonna tell.
I can just be myself and not.
And I'm gonna tell you stories. Like you've already obviously heard these stories or whatever. Like, and then so you know about my life. So I could just talk to you as if you know me for a long time. Because people always when they, I don't know if this happens to you, Samantha, but people are like, "Isn't it weird that I know so much about you?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, not anymore. In fact, and it's better for conversation."
You need to flip that on them.
What?
You need to be like, you don't know me.
Okay.
You think any of that's real?
Yeah, you got to be cool when you say it. You got to be like, you don't know me. You don't know a goddamn thing about me.
Yeah.
You got to be like, cool, dude.
It's all an act.
Yeah, and you got to make them think that, and then they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And you're like, don't ever say that to me again.
It's just so much better and easier for me if the person's already, if they're a listener, then I'm just like, all right, I'm going to talk to you now as if you're a family member or a friend. You know me already, or at least you've listened to me long enough. You know my backstory.
Right.
That is one of the things that I'm trying to find silver linings. That is one of the things that I really do kind of enjoy with the mask. Is if I wear a hat and sunglasses and a mask, then basically my entire head is like, you can't see anything. You can't see my eyes. You can't see my cheeks moving up and down. Right. So now when other parents or people that I may or may not want to talk to me, it is an easier ignore.
For the antisocial.
For those of us that are maybe a little more, what is that, introverted?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there is some comfort.
Oh yeah,
there
for sure.
Yeah, hide behind the mask. Don't talk to anybody.
Yeah. I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Don't ask you to smile.
I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Man with the Iron Mask.
I never saw that.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything. You know that was the movie that Michael Jordan watched the night before the last game of the finals from Last Dance. He says it in the interview.
Really?
When he's walking out, they're like, "What'd you do?" He's like, "I watched The Man in the Mask," and they're like, "The Man in the Iron Mask?" And he's like, "Yeah." They're like, "What'd you think of it?" He's like, "It was good." It's in the documentary. Yeah,
Weird.
It's a weird part of the documentary.
I wonder
And Leo meets him backstage.
if celebrities now. Well, obviously.
Did you watch that whole thing?
Last Dance? No, I haven't started yet.
My God!
I'm going to.
The documentary king hasn't watched that?
Well, Crystal's not into sports really.
Dude, she'll like it. Andrea loved it, and it's barely about.
Yeah. But she's not gonna be into because she doesn't even know. Like she knows Michael Jordan, but she doesn't know.
They go through Rodman and Pippen.
She doesn't.
The Rodman one was the best. And by the way, Carmen Electra now, holy crap!
Andrea knows more
good
about
or bad?
sports.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
Haven't heard from
Yeah,
her in a
Andrea
while.
does like sports. You're correct. Next email, I guess, so we don't neglect them.
This guy has a few questions. I had a few thoughts on the last couple episodes I've listened to. Number 1, to squeeze out a fart by your significant other, pull one butt cheek to the side,
That's
pulling
true.
close to the hole, and you'll get a nice discreet whoosh.
It does work.
I will not do that, sir. Number 2, why is Butler wearing condoms? Maybe I missed it, but is his wife not on birth control or an IUD? I'm 39 and have never pulled out, but then in all relationships have used some type of birth control. No kids yet. I think she actually doesn't want to do the birth control. A lot of it, they'll put in like fake hormones and chemicals and stuff.
I don't think it's good for you.
And she's a very, healthy, health conscious person.
Yeah,
I think that was
absolutely.
the reasoning, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I think so. I don't like to speak on other people's, that's her decision.
Right.
It doesn't matter why she doesn't want to do it. It's her deal.
Because all those things involve, except for what is the one that just floats around in your uterus and then?
Well, it doesn't float. I have an IUD. That's
Okay.
what.
No, but I think there is one.
But
that
is anything chemicals involved, or is that just?
It depends which one you get, right? So, like the one I have
There's
doesn't
one
have
that's
any
like
hormones.
a
It's
Roomba
hormone-free.
that just goes around
Like
in
the
there.
Nouvering?
And then when it needs to empty, it's
Then they got the
dust
implant in your arm.
tray.
Like, there's all kind of stuff.
The implant, though, the hormone.
Why have they not come up with anything for guys other than
I want it.
condoms?
Well, they got vasectomy.
I want that condom that's
but
the piece of tape.
Why don't they have something that's like a female temporary birth control for guys?
I would take a pill.
So much technology and all these different variations for women. Can we focus a little more on
I
the
would
dude?
take a pill.
Maybe it's because let's analyze this. Besides from the obvious, the fact that it's probably sexist when it started.
That's probably the main reason, yeah.
Now, but there's also
Like
probably
getting pregnant's our problem, right?
Yeah. But there's also probably like you just have to keep the egg falling down once a month, right? And then for guys, you'd have to neutralize their sperm every second of the day. So maybe there's something easier with keeping the egg from falling once a month than neutralizing sperm and making you not able to bear children every day is more invasive or harder to do. I don't know. That's my only logic to that. Because I would have to ingest something that killed my sperm, right? That's what would make it so.
Like Juan is saying, he says it exists, but all of the side effects, in parentheses, which are the same ones that women experience, were deemed too harsh to get FDA approval.
Great. So we can have all the bad side effects, but you guys can't?
Yeah, no, I would take a pill in a heartbeat because I know that, regulating, I'm trying to be super clinical and honest here, regulating a woman's cycle can be difficult at times and can be uncomfortable and crampy and horrible. And if I could take that burden off my wife, I would do it. Why not?
It just
no big deal.
Well, what if it caused you to have the same side effects where, like, you got
better me than her?
Well,
she's the good one. You know what I mean? Like, she's more important. So give me all the pain. And I know you feel that way about your family. I seriously feel that way. I'm like, just give it to me then.
Well, yeah. Well,
because I don't matter.
You can get the vasectomy. That'll.
I want to do it, but Andrea says no. But then she doesn't want another kid.
Well, go just get
why
it.
does she say no then?
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't really.
That good Daniel doesn't want to cut
When
his
I get
balls.
my
No, I
IUD
do. I do want to cut my balls.
When I get my IUD removed, my husband's getting a vasectomy. I'm not doing this again.
Let me go with you guys.
For the removal of my IUD?
No, it's all three of us, same time.
Wait, what am I there for?
You're getting your new IUD.
Well, that's separate locations. I'm going to the gynecologist. You guys got to go to the SNP doctor.
Your gyno can do it, right? They can all,
I don't know.
all kind of know what works, right?
Gynecologist is strictly for women.
But if I gave her all the
system.
tools, like if I gave her a scalpel and everything, and I said, "Hey, you could do this, right?"
They know anatomy.
She's a smart lady.
Yeah,
she probably could.
A doctor is a doctor.
They could find the vas deferens and they can go ahead and cut it and cauterize it. I'm sure, through their medical training, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, just give them a YouTube
and
video.
What's the typical age? Because I hear all these stories about dudes getting rejected from being able to get snipped because they're, quote, too young.
Well, you got to go to
my husband's only 32.
You got to go to the right doctor.
Yeah. There'll be a urologist that'll do it. That's I think that's more of a myth. My guy didn't even literally ask me if I had kids and didn't give a damn why. He's just like, all right, here, take these, take this Valium before. I
didn't even get that for my IUD insertion.
Here's 5 pain pills for after. That's
Stinks.
Didn't give a damn.
Did we answer all his questions? Did he have any more?
We have a couple more. Sorry.
Okay.
iPhone has a slow-mo video option. Helicopter your D with that. Worth the effort. That's just he's just letting that out there. What are the chances of you putting together a best of episode of all the old prank calls, Craigslist and whatnot?
I think we already did that.
We put them on a mega mix, but and then we did
only for BDMs, I think, right?
We did one where it's all straight talks.
Yeah, I think we did it. I think we already did that.
But we do, like, honestly, I'm gonna work hard on telling someone else to work hard on building a website where it has the 1 through 159 original shows,
just all in order,
and then all the best ofs and all the stuff that people constantly try to find. Instead of trying to navigate all our archives and stuff, we need one easy place to get it, and then maybe if you're like a BDM, you can get into there.
Access to it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna add that to the list of things we need to do before the end of the year. But we will have a place that you could find our content, the most popular content, easier, and then as people ask for more things, we'll just keep uploading it to the site, but it'll be just organized on there. So we'll work on that.
Yep.
Recent episode. I just watched the episode where you guys had a charcuterie tasting from the Holler Box. It was a great segment, and I have been to the restaurant before, but I didn't know about the market. I'm heading over there this Thursday to get some meats and cheeses to help celebrate my wife's birthday at New Smyrna Brewing. Thanks for having a great local business once again.
Dig it.
I think a lot of people didn't know that they had the market there.
Yeah. Including me.
Yeah, that's why we're doing the marketing.
As soon as I heard it, I go, oh my God, you mean I could have gone there and gotten some delicious treats? Yeah, because it's hard to find a lot of that stuff, and even harder to find a lot of those beers. And they have people on hand, whether it's Chef Pat. I think my buddy Gary still works down there. I mean, you could get a hold of one of those guys, and they're just like a tome of knowledge when it comes to Bavarian beers.
Dude, I'm sure there's tons of people with German heritage that don't know about Hallerbock. It's like one of our listeners, like, hey, my grandma is German. She'd love a traditional German style restaurant for food. You know, like they never knew about Hallerbock because the Meemaw's not going online and searching. I
was so happy we got a chance to take Andrea's grandparents before they both passed away to Hallerbock's. This is just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And they lost their minds because they had the traditional music. They got up and danced and were there in front of the guys with the accordion and they play the those long.
It's a fun experience.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, go support some good local German folks.
All right, let's do another email.
All right, crazy man screaming. So I had a crazy experience just now sitting at my computer playing SC2 and my dog gets up and walks towards the door. In that way a dog does when he's alerted, stiff and like a robot ready to attack. So I get up finally hearing what he did, a man screaming, help, 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 he's going to kill me. So obviously not exactly excited to look out my front door side window, but I did. Turned on the light to see a man running across my yard. And damn it, he noticed my light. So of course he runs to my door, pounding on it and ringing the doorbell, screaming the same thing. I obviously say, stay the F out of here, man, get my phone, call 911, go to my gun, rusty revolver, unlock the box, and wait. I tell the cops what is happening, and they say they are sending units. This guy is still screaming the same thing and now is sitting in my front yard. I'm starting to realize what is happening at this point. Still adrenaline is pumping, and I decided to take my dog and lock myself in the bedroom with my gun. The operator asked me if I feared for my life during the call as I was letting her know that I had my gun. I answered oddly, now thinking back. I said, not from this guy, but he's saying someone is going to kill him, so I'm afraid of that guy too. Also probably should have mentioned the guy had no shoes, no shirt, and was wearing baggy red and ones. End of all the story, the cops showed up and the guy bolted. As I had thought, cops mentioned he was probably on drugs and had an altercation. I live in a brand new subdivision over in Cocoa, and I guess some homeless people were hitting the new lots for phase 2 of the subdivision. I'm going to listen to some Tim in the 45s and not sleep for the next week. Thanks, Daniel. Always got good music. I'm not opening my door. Again, I'm sorry, but if someone's screaming, help, help, they're going to kill me, and you're, no shirt, no shoes, you're banging on my door.
This speaks more to paranoia, not to you not being a good person. You're a good person. It's just, I understand. I get it.
Here's.
I don't think many people would open that door.
I will call the cops for you, but
here's how I'll handle the situation. So he's banging on my door.
I am gonna feel terrible if he gets killed in my front yard.
Well,
what if you watch it?
That plays into it. So he's screaming, "Help! Help! They're here to kill me!" So first I'll do the math of like, all right, what's the odds of the murderer that is chasing this guy, that is, that he thinks he's running for his life or whatever, like that he's still chasing him at this point. Now he got to a house or whatever. Like, is this murder gonna kill him in front of a stranger's house and whatever? Like, so I start doing that math and like that seems unlikely, right? But I don't want to leave this guy out of my front yard if he really does need help because. Man, oh God, this is a real grim story. But so a person we know down in Miami, he rented one of his rooms to a guy that was a shady character and was into
bad hombre.
Yeah. With he had some drug affiliations and some like bad, into bad stuff. Anyway, he got into a car with his buddy, and this person, the driver, shot them both.
Ooh.
And in the guy's front yard, like in the driveway. Now, this was the person we know's house, but he was just renting like the garage efficiency or whatever.
Okay.
This was back when this person was in their 20s or whatever.
Sure.
Anyway, and then the one dude was still alive and then was crawling across the street to the
You gotta lock your door.
to the neighbor's yard, and then he was banging on the door, and then the neighbor was afraid to answer it.
Right.
And the guy just died in the front door. Now, I don't know if the neighbor, he's not.
What are you gonna do?
He wasn't an EMT or I don't know if he could have said, but it's like, oh God,
you'll feel terrible the rest of your life.
Yeah, some guys.
If someone is shot,
But you're
and
scared.
I see
you're
them.
like,
Yeah,
so
I don't know. I don't know if I'd open or
That's even
not.
worse than the guy saying how, because then the guy screaming, "How about you're looking out, you're barefoot, you got no shirt." You're like, you're probably crazy,
Right.
and maybe the goblins are trying to kill you. And when I let you in here, then you're gonna kill me because you think I'm a goblin. Like because so. So
that's an underutilized word too. We need to bring goblin back.
So the problem is we live in a society where you can't take any chances because what is like, and you're like,
Hey,
what if the guy knows
But
you're
that
still
sucks.
alive and comes back to finish the deal and decides to kill me too when you're shot? You know, I think a lot of people would think that.
But most likely, the person screaming, "They're going to kill me," is probably crazy, right? Statistically, it's crazy more often than a murder chasing the guy, right?
Yeah.
But if someone's crawling,
then shot, I
might be more inclined to open my door for that person.
because you're like, you look at and you assess the situation.
How do you
like,
But then I have just revisited the Scream series, and just because you're hurt does not mean you're not the killer. That's what we all learned from
That's
Scream.
true.
Oh my God, I watched that. Was that on like Sling or something that you just watched?
No, I watched it because it coincided with the Fort Airwalk podcast. They watched Scream 2 and did a show on it, so we went ahead and watched the entire Scream series this weekend.
I saw it was on a Sling or something, and we watched the end of it. I'm like, Jamie Kennedy is in this.
Yeah.
I forgot all the.
He was
people
good in that. That's Randy.
I couldn't take him seriously. I'm like, you're Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, you're doing that show with the kids on the island. Yeah. Want to do one more?
Sure.
All right.
Let's see. Hey guys, I just wanted to weigh in on the great Stingy D-hole debate of 2020.
This one just keeps on coming, man.
I too have experienced the Stingy D-hole, but only when I was younger and would make the mistake of using the same type of soap or shampoo to go at it. Conditioner or lotion does not cause this stanky D-hole sensation. I think he meant stingy. But soap or shampoo will. So in conclusion, if you are some type of animal and still use lubrication, use conditioner or lotion, or else you will feel the wrath of the stingy D-hole. Now, but Tom has said time and time again, the soap and the shampoo does not do anything to him.
Yeah. I'm saying it like no one's the only one guy, the old kidney stone guy, was saying that he had so many kidney stones it desensitized that area, and therefore he doesn't feel it. But I've never had that
in your whole life.
I think it's because and everything works right?
No. I don't know how
it's not like they poured, it's not like that tank at Tank America where they poured concrete down the nozzle,
the cannon.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, everything on you works. Yeah. It is, because it happened over the weekend for me. Straight up dial, but try this. I think I may have found it. What do you use, a washcloth, or do you use soap and water?
Just soap and water, yeah.
I always use a washcloth for my sensitive areas because I almost feel like there's a certain level of exfoliation
Scrubbing,
that needs to be there because there might be, gunked on. I don't know. There's stuff. So I was doing that, and then when it went for rinse, and I was like, oh, and there it was. And it was the...
But I have used a washcloth, and I'm saying through my whole life, never, ever had that sensation. And I still haven't figured out if there's a bunch of people genetically that don't have that. Like
I think it's kind of like, what is it, the cilantro thing. Some people think it tastes like dish soap, and some people are like, it's delicious. What are you talking about? Some people got a stingy D-hole, some don't.
Sometimes you sting like a D. Sometimes you don't.
Although,
oh man, Joy's got nuts.
When we talked about sitting standing, we had a lot of standers out there, and then sitters, and what I'm saying. But this, I haven't gotten like, hey, mine doesn't sting ever either. I've never had that. Like, I still haven't gotten
girls?
I don't ever recall a stinging sensation.
I think if I gave you a bar of white dial or yellow dial, and
maybe it's because I have a vagina. I didn't tell you guys that.
That could be it.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you told me that.
It all puts makes sense. It all makes sense.
I forgot about that.
Anyway, let's take a break. Bye. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha is knee-deep in emails.
Let's do it. What do we got?
Okay, this one actually is a two-parter. Because the guy messaged, and 10 minutes later finished up the segment that he was listening to and then followed up. So this is about Business Bro. Because, we have all these different segments now that Tom has approved.
He didn't move the needle for me.
No? Business Bro?
Business Baby is still in my mind. Business Bro, forgot we even did that.
So it says, I'm currently listening to Business Bro, and I want to punch my Bluetooth speaker. I'm an investor and have been since '08 when the housing market crashed. I'm 32 now. My personality is, I say like Sam's husband, I'm an old youngman. So I'd be business grandpa, but way too shy to speak on the air. Business Bro sounds like every moron this year with a Robinhood account that glances at articles and goes on Reddit for advice instead of researching charts and strategies. I'm what you call a value investor that will do contrarian and swing trades for short-term cash. The marijuana stocks have ran their course for the most part. Their charts are volatile with wild swings. There's like 3 to 4 decent ones, but like Bitcoin ships have sailed. This year has been an explosion for new investors entering the market with Robinhood and people using their stimulus checks. I study and read books on Warren Buffett, Ben Graham, Seth Klarman, and Howard Marks. Also, because I'm a nerd and was a physics major, I like the quaint side of finance and study David Shaw and James Simons. I will give weekly market updates and notes via email if you'd like. Maybe you start learning and investing. I'm a BDM, but don't use Facebook, so maybe there's an investor group. I just know that these new quote-unquote investors haven't read the first book nor studied the greats. Then he follows up 10 minutes later. Okay.
Don't read my email. I will get fired.
Okay, I finished listening to that guy and try to sound like he's working in the Wolf of Wall Street boiler room to touch on brokerages that are all zero fee to invest. Personally, I've always used Charles Schwab because of the research tools you get and way better for options and trading. Robinhood is okay for new investors with under $1,000, but how Robinhood makes their money is selling data and trades real time to hedge funds and banks. Also, Robinhood is notorious for crashing and messing up trades and lacks in-depth research tools and charting. Y'all gotta use some punctuation in here because these are all
even your emails are boring.
Sir,
Nobody
long-winded.
wants you to, my God.
Here's what it is, sir. Is okay, and this happens in the world of gambling, and I'm sorry I always go back to it, but so if you start getting deeper and deeper,
sometimes I wonder what it would have been like if your passion had fallen onto designing lingerie, and every time you had a point you wanted to make, you'd be like, it's just like lingerie. I'm in there and I'm cutting the lace and I'm stitching the satin.
Well, the thing is, if you know a lot about one particular topic, you can make an
make an
analogy to
analogy.
anything. But so in gambling, you can get to like deeper and deeper into it, and more the analytical and more the like trying to find the most accurate edge and not going off of any emotion and any trends and any like feeling that this person or like not, it's like pure analytics, and you're just trying to find that half-inch margin. Like you get so specific that it gets so nerdy and technical that you took the fun out of it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're also now you're getting into an area where very few people even care about, because the vast majority of gamblers just like to watch football and be like, I want the Dolphins to win. I'm going to bet on the Dolphins. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
I do. Yeah.
And so then when you're producing content, because I know it like from listening to all these NFL podcasts and stuff, you got the people that are trying to appeal to the broad audience, who the majority just want to watch the NFL and bet on their favorite team, right? And then maybe try to get like, maybe this person, like they'll never bet against their home team because they consider that unlucky and things like. But that's the majority. So then you have people that are trying to appeal to that, similar to Business Bro, which I'm not sure like if this gentleman's right, and I don't know anything about finance, but he is probably trying to appeal to the people that don't know how to invest and like want to just get a Robinhood account and put $100 in it.
Yeah, like
and
when
learn,
people say they do this, like Juan is saying, and I don't want to get into his business, it's his business, but I have a lot of people that'll say things sort of like what Juan just said in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/TomAndDanLive. Juan said, where is it? Okay, he said, I'm invested in Facebook, in NVIDIA, Tesla, 3M, and very recently Beyond Meats. Okay, that makes sense to me. And I have a lot of friends that say things like this to me, but I don't know how to take that. And the way that I was raised, I don't ask them how much skin they got in the game,
right?
Because it's none of my business.
Right.
But I don't know what's the like if you are investing in that, what are you doing, a couple $100? Are you doing a couple $1,000? Like, because I don't really, I've never looked at money as something that I've ever had enough of where I am at a place where I can invest and then roll
Hope
the
for the
dice.
best.
Yeah, I've never been that guy. It's
well, that's what you're doing with your 401k and stuff.
No,
and,
I know, but that to me
that's
makes
just going into
that makes more
mutual
sense
fund,
because I've never had the money. You know what I mean? Like that to me is I've never had it, so you're just taking it.
But if you don't know about it, right, you just hire a guy that knows, right?
And then that person's usually
They take their cut, but at least they're making smart investments for you, because that's what I would have to do. I have no idea about any of this.
Yeah, and you can get into the market, and it's almost the same as like gambling markets. So it's all just a market. You start looking at individual companies, and then you can gamble on the whole thing as a whole, and that's a little more steady. Like obviously, it's like traditionally is going to give you X amount of percentage over a year, you know what I'm saying? And then long term, you can kind of track it and that kind of thing. But there's safe things where it's like, I want to do a mutual fund, which is a bunch of things together, so there's less volatility and stuff. But then you start getting into finding like emerging companies, and like you're putting money into a company you think is going to explode, and like those kind of, but you can lose all your money. Like it becomes very volatile when you start doing individual companies, and especially like startups and stuff like that.
Ooh.
Sorry,
You caught it.
He gets
Getting excited.
So there's
money makes his heart tick.
But again, I have no idea about the stock market and stocks. But
sounds fun though, and it sounds like something that, if done correctly, I would be interested in.
Yeah.
You know, it is. It's intriguing to me to think if I took a little bit of money and just tried to see what I could do with it. But
the problem
I'd like to have a loose $50,000. And I don't.
You lose it because it would be foolish of you to go in without knowing anything and start just seeing if like it's the equivalent of, you know, betting $50,000 and not knowing what you're doing. You're just going to start to be like, I like the Dolphins, I'm going to bet on them, and I think Tom Brady's going to Tampa, he's good, I'm going to bet on them. You know, it's like, whoa, you're now. I mean,
I wouldn't just do things I like. I mean, I tried to research it, but again, I don't know what I'm talking about.
And any research you're doing is already screwed because it's already public knowledge, and then you've lost the edge. Like you have to get real deep into a company and start projecting what they're going to do, and like to start, you know, it's a full-time job to become good at it, and that's all it is. Like it's the same thing with any hobby you start getting into, like plants. It would be a full-time job for me to learn as much as I need to know about all my different plants that I have in my house.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like,
how's that going, by the way?
20.
Did you get your wife working on the plants yet?
No, she hates them.
Okay.
I think it's because I like them. I think I ruined it.
Well, you have to start hating them.
Yeah, well, I love plants, so I
Yeah.
can't.
And now he's
I
got
have to be me.
funny little shirts with puns on it about plants.
Yeah. By the way, if I wore that shirt, he would bully me. Oh my God. I don't wear any of the shirts he could bully me in. I just wear a plain Tom and Dan because I don't want to be bullied anymore. All the shirts that I enjoy, never wear them.
Bullying is good for you.
It is, but I had enough of it when I was a small, sized child. One more.
Okay, Tom's Orb. Hey gang, I was listening to a BDM and OG show, and I'm really concerned for Tom. He's going through a ton of mental stress, and while I really enjoy the show, the content it provides, I have the answer to solving his orb. The orb is because of Tom's ADHD. He needs to see a better PCP or psychiatrist. Every single failure/Orby is caused by the ADHD. Sam sees it, and I see it as it reminds me of myself. Dial in the medication and find someone that can help you handle the ADHD better. Tom, I know you'll ignore the advice, but dear God, man, do it for yourself and stop the orb. ADHD is serious and contributes to you being special needs detective. Take care.
Yeah, he's on pills for it, right?
Yeah, and that does help me. And I am starting to change my tune. And
because remember when you first got on your medication, the orb did disappear for a while.
Yeah. See, the problem is the medication can only help me if you use the medication. And Daniel will probably attest to this. Like, same thing with like medication you take for anxiety. medication is not the only answer. It's medication and changing certain lifestyle, and then like you have to do like exercise and things like that. So with me,
you got to be open-minded to the entire package of solving your problem, not just taking the pills.
Yeah, pills. Just the pills are never going to solve anybody's problem, right? So it's the pills, but also certain things. Okay, so I read an article. Where I was sitting for a long time somewhere, whatever. I had time to kill. I forgot where it was. Maybe I think it was I was in the waiting room, my doctor's office, trying to get the goddamn Adderall.
Right.
So I'm reading an article that just came out about ADD and like some of the misguidance with medication and how people like frown upon like all the uppers and stimulants like Adderall and stuff, and people abuse them, and then and like it's also like society's like, oh, you're on Adderall, like it's become a faux pas where they're just abusing it to like study for tests, or like so many people
and
are
that
abusing
happens a lot.
but anyway, they were talking about like people living with ADD and didn't know it, and then until they got older and they're looking back at their lives and realizing all these things that had hindered them. And man, when I start reading people's stories and reading like, oh, that's the orb, like they were trying to do 20 things at once and trying to get ahead of themselves like all the time, and they were jumping from and then like certain jobs they had, like they couldn't do, and they could do super complicated things, but easy things like just handle their bank account and all these super like mundane normal life things that people have to do, like they couldn't do them, like me reading directions or something, like I just couldn't.
Your brain shuts down.
Yeah, like it didn't compute with there. And then like and the people that got through it were saying that they just found workarounds their entire life, and they just.
I think I have a sprinkling of it.
Yeah. I think everybody's on a spectrum of one thing, so it's like everybody's got it to a certain degree. It's like, how serious is it? Like, and mine's probably not even that. Some people have it debilitating, where they can't function. You know, like
I have a family member that like their version of what we joke around with you is like sad.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's
controllable, but if they're not
bad at
controlling
life
man.
And then
good.
you mix that with maybe some other problems they got, like depression or other, who knows, and then it gets real bad. But man, when I was reading off these people's experiences, I was like, man, that sounds familiar, and I could relate to that a lot. And man, when I take the damn Adderall, I feel it kick in, and then I'm like, I could focus.
Can you feel it kick out?
No, but
you don't have like a crash.
I usually, I've
heard people
tired.
say that, that they get tired.
But that's why I don't want to take more, because I don't need to be that. Like I'd rather.
I do from caffeine, and that's the next thing I have to. To work on is the caffeine, because I can feel my body like stop, like I can feel it like. It's almost like like your air conditioning, whether it's when it's on, you don't audibly hear it. But when it goes off, you realize that it was there the whole time.
Right.
The noise.
Yeah.
It's like that in my body. I can feel like this buzzing, and I can feel it shut off. It's weird, dude.
And just like this guy was talking about, when I put myself in situations, especially like when I had the remodel and stuff, when I'm take myself, like I've built structure, or at least these, like every day I'm doing the same routines that help me with my ADHD.
Right.
I think I'm just making this all up
as
I go. But
think about somebody with ADD.
Yeah.
Keeping a schedule or a routine is only going to help them, because it's reteaching your brain how to go through life instead of just complete chaos.
So when I took that away from myself, and I'm living in an Airbnb, and I'm
that threw you off bad.
Then look at all these things spiral out of control. And then I get myself back on the structure, and then it seems like So I'm learning that if I put myself into a situation where I'm out of my routine and I'm out of structure, and then you throw and compile, because I will compile everything onto myself, and like I'll be like, I could do all this stuff. Like I could do this, start a new company, do this, and so I'll put it in, and then we
were just talking about this, weren't we?
And then of course I can't. It's too much, but I'll spiral and all these
Like,
things.
I'm going to do this all the exact week that I'm going to be building everything in my house. Like, calm down, buddy.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And I'm not spacing it. I'm just trying to do it all at once, which is probably a symptom of it to begin with, is like thinking that I could do all these things. Like, that's a crazy, why would you think you could do that? Like everything.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Everything in your entire life tells you cannot do this, and you still push forward. It's like, and so that all has to play
Because
into
you've
it.
always done it that way.
Yeah, but
That's
it's, it's
true nature.
Yeah. So there is a certain amount of comfort in starting the process the way you've always started it. For anything that I do where where I know it's not, I shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
There is a certain level of comfort that allows you to want to do it.
Yeah. And I think as I get older, it's becoming worse, or at least the symptoms of it are harder for me to deal with.
My ear
As
hairs
age,
are getting worse. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
And my eyebrows.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have bushy pop-out eyebrows.
I am getting them too.
You got to do the trimming. You got to trim them
And
up.
then in my ears, my wife, and I didn't know this was a thing, and I feel like this is a design flaw. My wife was, she likes to pick on me like a monkey would pick on its mate, pick the bugs off of them, and she uses the tweezers on my ears, and she pulled, I swear to God, a hair that was like 4 inches long, but it was in my ear.
No, it's down
like
and
into
deep.
the bottom.
Yeah.
And growing out.
Shouldn't be down there.
Yeah, like why is
Why is it down
why
there?
is there a hair follicle down there?
I don't know.
Why do I need that? That's not keeping and I could feel it with my finger. When I stick my finger in my ear, I'd be like, there's something in my ear.
And did it just pop in? That's what I don't understand. Is like, are follicles appearing in your skin? How is it morphing?
Where was
Is
this
a
when I was a
pore-
kid?
Are they opening up more, maybe?
Was it always there?
Right.
Like a seed that just sprouted at 40 years later? Like, well, what is it?
Yes.
Like, did the pore turn into a follicle? How?
Yeah, how did it get down there?
How is your body growing hair that
40
wasn't
years
there
into,
before?
40 years into me being born, I now grow a 4-inch hair out of the center of my ear canal.
Yeah.
That my wife has, because I can feel it with my finger, and when I'd swirl my finger, I'd go like you do a swirly, in there. I don't,
Like a wet
I don't
willy?
normally stick my fingers in my ears because it's gross, right?
Right.
I clean them in the shower, and that's about all I touch. I wash them out, and I go around, because it's shaped like a seashell or whatever. I get all the crevices.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I do. I don't touch my ear, scratch it, maybe. But this one, it grew from the bottom, so she had to get the tweezers way down in there, which is all giving me anxiety too, because I
Yeah.
can feel it in there. I'm like, you're way deep, and you could feel it. It was like,
Weird. Was that follicle laying dormant for all these years, like a monarch butterfly, and then finally sprouted in your?
it's like the
44th?
worst gift ever. I don't want that.
Hey, what
Give me
is
less
it?
hair as I get older.
And I think my pubes are on rapid grow.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
they're like they're happy. They're like it's like somebody put the world's greatest nutrients on them. I mean, they're just like shave them and then poof.
That's odd. Yeah. Would they eventually?
I want them all gone.
You can get a
Do you
laser
go
off.
bald down there? Like
I hope so.
No, your
No.
legs. The circulation blows them out your legs, but I think your torso remains.
Even
intact.
old
How come-
men.
Yeah.
how
I
come
think
your
so.
hair only falls out of your head when you get older and not?
There's an
everywhere
explanation.
else?
There's some sort of
No, there's no explanation.
that.
No one knows.
I need a hair
It's
scientist.
like, it's something. Well, if you have male pattern baldness, it's just genetic. But then naturally, as you get older, like the hair, you'll
Am
get
I losing
hair.
my hair?
No, you're good, dude. You're not.
Am I losing my hair, Twitch?
No. You
you
know.
got good hair.
It's
yeah.
decent. He's got great
You
hair.
both have really good hair.
Tom's got great hair.
I'll end up losing.
What about Butler's hair?
Butler's getting thin. In the back.
Oh, is he here?
Yeah,
No, I think he ran to go get.
You're
the,
gonna make him cry. If he
trophy.
hears it, he'd be very sad.
No,
That's
he
why
knows.
That's why I'm whispering.
Let's get him laser hair. Let's get him
It's
the
funny,
Removal. Just remove the rest of what's left.
No, let's get him. Let's get him the surgery.
The plugs.
Let's
hair
do
plugs?
it. Let's do a.
Oh, they got good now. It's expensive. Dude, it's
Yeah, we'll do a.
$5 to
We'll do a
grand.
GoFundMe.
Yeah. Who's gonna pay to
The
get Butler?
BDMs.
Why would they care?
The chopper's mopper.
Help the
Save
chopper.
the chopper's mopper.
Save the chopper's mopper.
Yeah. They do a good job nowadays, man.
How do we want to get it? How do we want his hair to look?
Well,
Yeah, we get to pick, right?
They just put it in the front.
I want him to have the mo.
You can pick your hairline though, like
take it down low,
right?
Yeah,
eyebrow.
give him like bring it down to the brows.
Yeah,
he's already a Neanderthal. Don't
How low can you bring it without
all the way to brow?
Your body rejecting the transplants?
I think wherever they put that hair follicle, it will just act like it's a hair because it came from your head, so it'll just grow its natural lifespan. So you could put it in the palm of your hand or whatever. I think it'll just grow, right? Maybe in the palm because
I think there's certain areas it has to go.
Maybe because
and how far are we away from being able to transplant other people's hair or being able to transplant artificial and man-made follicles that we've created?
Yeah. I don't know because I know
beyond hair.
Other people's hair, I don't know if it'll work, but maybe if they have certain like same blood type or something, something like that, because you can get other people's organs and stuff, obviously, and skin.
Yeah, but hair is such a weird thing.
But look up if you could transplant other people's hair. I think you can, but it's obviously they don't do it with like cadavers or whatever. And maybe once, I don't know how. Yeah. You would think though, man. You could get a lot of hair that way, though, if you got it from the dead man's hair. Because like
dead men have no hair.
You cannot. You have to use your own hair.
From anywhere on your body?
It says, unlike organ transplants, you are your own donor for a hair transplant. There is no donor to recipient. If you have received hair, follicles, and tissue from someone else, your body would reject them with immune suppressant drugs.
Huh.
Well, why couldn't I?
You could use a pig artery and you can't use another person's hair follicle?
What about pig hair? What if I had straight, like Razorback? Right, let's get Butler straight, spiky Razorback pig hair.
Oh, bye-bye.